Okay, well, here we go. We're starting. First time recording in a studio, so bear with us here. Welcome to the Bootleg Media Podcast. This is my first episode, and I'm going to recap the Patriot Double Down for God and Country that was in Las Vegas this weekend. First and foremost, it was amazing. It was so filled with like the Holy Spirit all weekend. You could just feel the energy that everybody had, and everyone was so happy to be there. Security, give it up for security. They were outstanding, so outstanding that they thought I was a criminal. But so I'll get into that story. But I'm just so grateful for QAnon John put it on with his wife Amy, and they just blew it out of the water. It was outstanding. We stayed at the Ahern, I don't know how you say it, Ahern Hotel. The staff was amazing. The rooms were great. It was a pleasure to be there, and honestly an honor to just be able to network with so many people that are so like-minded and so willing to, take on this insane challenge we have to get our country back. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the speakers we saw, and we'll just go from there. So this girl, Amanda, this isn't a speaker, but I just want to talk about her for a second. She has been undercover MAGA for a year, whatever that means. She's been going to these Q events, Patriot events, and just getting a lay of the land, paying top dollar to meet some very big names. And she got caught this weekend at the Double Down on Friday, the first day there. She got caught I don't know how she got caught. I don't know who figured out that she was not who she said she was. But she ultimately revealed her Twitter to the world on Friday after getting kicked out from the event. And that is who security thought I was. And wait till you see what she looks like. But let me just read some of her tweets here. First and foremost, this is my favorite one. Where is it? She goes, "Hello, I'm a communist, and I think you are out of your mind. Thank you." Talking about someone else. So she's a self-proclaimed communist, proud as can be about it. And she retweeted Mike Rothschild, who said, "I haven't paid much attention to the Patriot Double Down. The little I have seems very tired and rote, like the same grifters telling the same crowd the same nonsense at the last dozen conferences. Fun to dunk on, but not at all that interesting." She asked the FBI in a tweet, "P.S. FBI, do I get a direct check for this, or will Soros be handling it?" Okay, Amanda, you psychopath. I just don't know how someone can go to these events for a year and not genuinely be moved in their heart by the speeches, the whistleblowers, the undercover journalism that's actually being done and exposed. I cannot fathom how you can go to these events over and over again and not actually hear these stories and the sadness in people's voice. But that is how much hate Amanda has in her heart. That is how much hate she has in her heart. So that's what we're dealing with on the other side of things. She tweeted, "I hate Ron Watkins because I find him very annoying and he's chasing me off Twitter by simply existing. Life is unfair." Let me make this very clear. Ron Watkins must be protected at all costs. Ron Watkins is the only one in Arizona, the only one going outside of the Attorney General's office, standing out there every single day, trying to find the Attorney General to decertify the 2020 election. The only one! The whole country's bitching and moaning about the election fraud and all this and all that. And Ron's the only one standing out there. The only one! I just can't get over it. When he told us that, I was just dumbfounded, flabbergasted, can't even believe it, that everyone's tweeting away to certify the election, and Ron's the only one standing outside the Attorney General's office every day. And she says, "I hate Ron Watkins because I find him annoying." Oh, lady. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. She also has proclaimed herself as an immune god, so there's that. I don't want to spend too much time on her. I just think she deserves to be, her Twitter is the cancel mob, and she used to go by something turtle. I don't know, who cares. Okay, moving on. I even wrote in my journal, "Protect Ron Watkins at all costs." I'm going to go through and just read my notes that I took during the event. The speakers, Jason Sullivan, I don't even know his title, but he came out with magainfo.tv. That's going to be like the new home base of monetization for content creators that are being demonetized through YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, etc. Okay, Kirk Wiebe, former NSA. His whole presentation was about Michael Hayden, who was a former NSA director, and the reason the NSA got full access to our privacy. Michael Hayden is an awful, awful man that should be hung for treason. The NSA had to learn how to handle millions of terabytes of data flowing through the internet daily, and I believe he said we're at 81 terabytes per second of data currently, which is like unimaginable. That's just so much data. So this is back before 9/11. Michael Hayden, the bad guy, had proposed a trailblazer plan, and he wasted billions of dollars. Kirk Wiebe was the good guy. He's the speaker. He was proposing this thin thread plan in opposition to the Trailblazer plan, and it got shut down by Hayden. It included privacy for Americans, and it was proposed 9 months before 9/11. Hayden got promoted to a 4-star general. It was a complete disgrace. He should have been court-martialed and thrown in jail for his proposed plan of protecting Americans' privacy through the NSA. The NSA intercepted the data that was used to plan 9/11, and the White House analysts literally went insane, he said, trying to get the truth out there. Kirk had said these people that were working in these agencies that were good people were so mentally, like their psyche was so messed with when they were trying to get the truth out because they were realizing they were dealing with demons. And ultimately, it led to a lot of them leaving the NSA and other government institutions because they couldn't do it anymore, because they couldn't mentally handle it. And that's just unbelievable. The constitutional rights knowingly violated our 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment, and he really emphasized that being spied on gives up a lot of privacy. And I want to mention how I used to say this all the time. I used to say, like, I don't care, spy on me. Like, what's it to me? I'm not doing anything wrong. Who cares? The most precious thing that we have besides our physical bodies is our thoughts. We only have our thoughts that are our own. And you don't want anyone to take that away from you. And you know what? Algorithms can be used in a really great way. And they're being manipulated currently to learn our thoughts, predict our thoughts. I mean, does your phone not predict your next word when you're typing a text message? That's kind of messed up, right? These people were spying on all of us and using it to their advantage politically, monetarily, and demonically, quite frankly. So people really need to care. I just remember saying that all the time. Oh, who cares if they spy on me? Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. That doesn't matter. I'm just trying to not, like, read all this off, but he said that blackmail is the Fed's favorite method to get what they want, and then he started going into ethics. Ed Loomis, Bill Binney, and Kirk Wiebe walked out of the NSA Halloween 2001. The context for the decision was because they took an oath to defend the Constitution. Ethics were taken out of the NSA via Michael Hayden, so they decided to take their ideas and values to the government via other channels. They went to the CIA and the Department of Homeland Security. Kirk emphasized what defines behavior of a society. He talked about family, schools, policies, law, and religion, and that the United States has become a nation of cheaters. Then he gave a call to action that I really appreciated for the local level. He said to consider approaching a code of ethics in an organization that's walking a thin line. Have penalties for disobeying and make them sign it. If you are involved in like your city council or any sort of committee, and it doesn't, tyranny and communism doesn't happen overnight. It's very step by step, slow by slow, little by little. If you can just see little things, especially ethics, like something that's like so just, you can just blatantly ask someone on the board, like, is that the right thing to do in a situation like that? And you can get ahead of it little by little, make them sign something that says if they disobey the code of ethics that there's going to be penalties. And I just thought that was a really brilliant call to action for someone that literally had to leave the NSA due to ethics issues and spying on Americans. Okay, moving on to Stella Emanuel. Probably my favorite speech. I don't know, it's hard to pick, but she is so spicy. I just love her. And actually, Amanda tweeted about her, too. I think if I have a screenshot of it, and it's pretty funny. Here we go, hold on. She goes, I think a speaker at QAnon John's conference is saying a platypus is the beast referenced by the phrase mark of the beast. Yes, Stella was talking about the mark of the beast, and she did compare it to a platypus. And then she told all of us to go to Mexico to get our precious ivermectin. Actually, she told us we can go on her website, which is drstellamd.com if you need ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine. She was adamant about getting it now. Adamant. She said, avoid hospitals at all costs. So did Jody O'Malley, who was the Department of Health and Human Services whistleblower that came to Project Veritas. She spoke later, said the same thing. Stay out of hospitals by any means, all costs, and have these drugs on hand. drstellamd.com is where she's selling it. Stella said what I've been telling people, and people called me crazy. If you got vaccinated, you need to repent. And that's not a target to vaccinated people. Unvaccinated people need to repent too. But her whole point was that there's a demon inside of you now, and we need to get it out of you. So take with that what you will. She also talked about a lot of things that just felt so validating because I had been talking about them, well, especially clones, for a year on Instagram, and it just felt so validating to hear it from a doctor for some reason. So she really went into clones a little bit. She talked about the luciferase that is in vaccines, most of you are probably familiar with. That's like the substance that's in lightning bugs, which makes them light up, and it's in the vaccine, which makes your skin glow, only on certain backgrounds under a certain light, and that's to know if you're vaccinated or not. So, she also drove home the point to watch home the They Live movie. I have not seen that, but I've heard many people talk about it. Let's see. There was this Corey the Cowboy guy that was outstanding. He was in solitary confinement at after the January 6th rally for going. And he has done so much in support of President Trump, and he had quite the critique. I mean, he first listed everything he's done for Trump, and then he said, I can't believe Donald Trump hasn't done more to get those prisoners out of solitary confinement. And he just talked about how absolutely torturous it was, and he was so grateful to at least have been given a Bible. I know others were not so lucky. The Project Veritas whistleblowers were amazing. I should have wrote down her name. Melissa, the Pfizer whistleblower that went to Project Veritas, she spoke to her, and Jody O'Malley did. They were so clearly nervous, and it was their first time speaking publicly ever, and first time even hanging out with people that know what's going on. And they were just, afterwards, when they were done, we all got to I actually was talking to someone. I was talking to Jordan Sather and Red Pill 78 when my friend Lala Beams went over to talk to Jody and Melissa. But Lala Beams told me that they were so overjoyed and just knew they were in the right place after talking to Lala and talking to other people about how grateful we are. We're all screaming in the audience, we love you! And they were just so emotional and so nervous, and then they finally relaxed and were like, okay, we've made the right decision. General Thomas McNerney, he zoomed in, and the only thing I'll say about him is that he said that Colin Powell died from the vaccine, which I thought was interesting because obviously that's not what we heard. I'm trying to think. Okay, and then 107 and Jim Caviezel were the two surprise guest speakers. So I'll start with Jim and then I'll go to Juan. But Jim was obviously amazing. He's played Jesus Christ in The Passion of the Christ, and he did his Passion speech where he talks about his experience there. And they made us turn our phones on airplane mode. They made us be in the moment for it, which I'm really glad for because it was extremely powerful and just amazing to watch. But they brought him there because he's going to be starring as Tim Ballard in Sound of Freedom, which is going to come out in the beginning of next year, 2022. And that story, if you don't know who Tim Ballard is, he's the founder of Operation Underground Railroad. He's former CIA, turned Homeland Security, and then he realized his hands were tied for saving trafficked children as far as being a federal agent. He couldn't go into other countries and save these kids as easily as he could without being a federal agent, so he ditched the forces to start his own nonprofit, and that's what the movie's going to be about, and it looks amazing. The trailer was outstanding, and obviously Jim Caviezel's outstanding, so that's going to be something to look forward to, and they were really, really adamant about sharing that movie with your friends and family. Wendy Rogers, I did not get to see. I had to make my flight, which was so upsetting. So I also missed George Papadopoulos, which was super upsetting as well. But she did say to email your state legislators with her email in there too, like a little chain email saying, or to the email team@wendyrogers.com. Email and introduce the two so that she can also start hounding your legislators while you're also hounding them to decertify the 2020 election, which I thought was brilliant. Although it's very difficult to find local legislators like personal email. You always have to go through their website and like fill out the form and like, you know, they don't give you the email, which is bogus. But some people know their legislators' emails. So for those people, that was a good idea. 107, sorry. Okay, so let's get to the part everyone wants to hear. So going into the weekend, I didn't actually know. I mean, there was rumors that people were saying, you know, it's going to be 107. And my preconceived notions of 107 were, I know he has an extremely huge fan base that's really loyal. And I also know there's a lot of criticisms about him. Like, that was all I knew. I don't follow his work closely. I don't have any, like, grudge against him. I just knew that the criticisms of him are, where does the money come from, and his approach in sharing information is very like, I have insider information, and people they're not receptive to that whatsoever. So I can tell you where the money's coming from. It's the loyal boomers that love him, love him. They're obsessed with him. And I mean, it's a sight to see when someone has that many fans, but like, I was super happy for all those people that got to meet him that have been, you know, reading his work for so long. And I will say, after hearing him speak, I have gained a lot of respect for him. I definitely had some preconceived judgments from hearing about the, you know, criticisms of him, but I really believe he is a good person, and he was very Christ-centered in his speeches, and I was watching him react to the Jim Caviezel speech and, like, his cues to what Jim was saying. Like, he, you know, everyone's watching Jim. I was just like staring at Juan to see like how he was reacting, and I am happy with how he reacted. Let's put it that way. And just his speeches, and then just networking with people there. We met this guy, Ohio Brett, who was so nice. Literally carries his Bible around, networks with you, and then makes a Bible lesson out of it. Like, it was amazing. And he said that he has started this like sponsorship program to just get money to patriot people who are trying to make a living off of this movement, and rightfully so. People need to ditch the whole patriot thing. Like, that was, yes, if someone is like bogus and not actually doing work and getting money, then yes, that is garbage, and that shouldn't happen. But most of these people want to be the news now. They literally want a television show, and they want a podcast, and they want it to be successful, and they don't want to ask you for money. So for those people, this guy's like seemingly helping them out, and he said it's because 107's helping him out. So the happy circle of life, people. I mean, come on. I think that's pretty much all we can ask for. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say. I want to show you a picture of this crazy girl and tell you the security story. I don't know if I have it up here, though. I know I have it on my phone. This is who security thought I was. Oh, if I can find it. Can we see this? Are you kidding me? Security comes up to me. So, okay, I go upstairs. It's like downtime. And James from We the People Radio had gotten media access. What? Oh. Had gotten media access to do interviews, you know, with all these people or whatever. and it was like downtime, and I needed to like walk around, take a lap. So I go upstairs by the media room, and you need special badges to get in there, but no one's around. James is in there, and I'm like, James, I just want to like peek and see your setup. And he's like, sure, come on in. As if James has any authority to tell me where I can and can't go in Las Vegas hotels. Like, totally just like, yeah, sure, come in. So I go in, and I like just take a picture, and security's there like that. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, taking a picture. And I like get out, I leave. I'm like, okay, like I'll get out of here. Sorry. Like my friend James had passes. He said I could come in, telling him the whole thing. And he's like, what's your name? And I'm like, Jackie. Like I am known as Bootleg Media on the internet. And he's like, okay. And then he gets his phone. And first of all, he didn't look like security, by the way. Like I was being cooperative, but like he was just kind of like hunting me down rather than like, I don't know. The approach was just a little meh. But he starts taking pictures of me, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, who are you? What do you want? Like, how can I help you? I'm sorry I was in the media room, like, taking a picture. Like, I'm out now. What? And he's like, well, we're looking for someone. And I'm like, well, you got the wrong girl. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And he's like, well, she's undercover. And I'm like, well, I'm a bad actress. Like, it's still not me. And then I find out through Red Pill 78's speech, he brings up the Amanda girl, and it was the crazy psychopath that's been undercover MAGA for a year, and this is who she is. And I'm hoping that he was just told, like, she has light hair. Like, that's like the extent of the description. I hope he wasn't shown a picture and then found me. But, yeah, she can rot in hell for being a psychopath. But, again, like I said, security just was outstanding all weekend. For an event that could have had a lot going wrong and a lot of spiritual attacks, I couldn't have felt safer all weekend, and it was just really nice to know that we didn't have to be on edge for any reason, and it was just a whole event of comfort and joy and love for this country, and it was just a really magical experience. I really am so glad I went, and I think I got my money's worth, and I just really enjoyed it. So, yeah. But how are we on time? Well, that concludes our first episode. You can find me on Instagram. Actually, I don't even know. I'm pretty sure if you search me, I don't come up. But at Bootleg Media with an underscore at the end. I have another one at Bootleg Media with 2 underscores at the end. And I have a third one, Bootleg Media 3.0. But you can also reach me by email, bootlegmedia@protonmail.com. And I'm hoping to get some guests on in the next few episodes. So we'll see what happens. And a shout out to Josh for letting me use the studio. Okay, see you next time.